and I am here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center today to bring you some fun arts and entertainment news and some style fashion tips later in the hour. Right now, I have a guest with me who is a local Rhode Islander. He actually is from Rhode Island, has moved to LA to pursue his musical aspirations and preparing for a tour that is going to bring him back to the area called his Homegrown Tour. Let's meet Nico Franc. Hey, Nico.
Hi there. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well over here. Absolutely. How are you?
Great. So you're coming to us live from a recording studio in Los Angeles where you now live. Tell us about the studio and what you do there.
So luckily I found this place through a friend, and the way we do two things at the studio. Now, of course, it's a fully functioning recording studio, but my job here is actually working with children. So we bring kids into a completely fully professional musical atmosphere and try our best to essentially help them become their own artists. It's not really about teaching music. It's about opening up their minds to writing songs and approaching music with that in mind. So with music with a focus of being your own artist, being yourself, and with a focus of writing music. So yeah, it's a beautiful space.
Yeah, what a cool job. Most people, when they move to LA, bartend or wait tables while they pursue their music. So at least you get this really cool opportunity to work with kids and write songs. That's really cool.
Definitely. And I've found so much wealth in relearning music because you have the ability to go, oh, wow, I never even thought about it that way, especially when you're trying to explain it to a kid. So it's been such a learning experience for me. I'd say one of the best that I've had musically.
So cool. So you actually grew up in Rhode Island. Now you're out kind of doing your thing. But where in Rhode Island are you from?
So I grew up between Winchester, Massachusetts, and Portsmouth, Rhode Island. So we were between the two for a while. And it was Massachusetts first, then Rhode Island. And I miss it, so that's why this tour is happening.
Yeah, it kind of does lure you back. I know something about that myself. What initially inspired you to get into music? Did you start getting interested in playing guitar and writing songs and singing when you were a kid, or when did that happen for you?
Oh my! Well, I love to tell this quirky little story. It started very young for me, and I used to sit on my dad's lap actually, because he's a fantastic drummer, and he would, so I would hold the drumsticks, right, and of course I could fit right perfectly in his lap. I would hold the drumsticks, and then he'd put his hands around my hands, and he'd play, all these crazy fills and taught me literally one-on-one. He showed me the movements of freeing up each individual limb, how to play drums. And so that went from drumming all the way to piano lessons. And again, this was maybe 3 years old when I was sitting on his lap playing, 2 years old maybe. So it started off really early, and I didn't really become, I guess, when I started playing piano, that's when I realized, oh my God, this is something that I really love to do. I love playing drums, but when I had the ability to compose music and mess with melodies and go, wow, it was instantaneous for me. I said, this is what I want to do. And I don't think it was until I went to college studying design that I truly made that choice and made that jump, because I just proved to myself that I could do it. And out there, I definitely worked hard. So.
Wow, that's so cool. So do you play You play drums, piano, guitar, all those things?
Yeah. So in different stages of my life, I definitely focused on each instrument. But I developed an understanding of those instruments, which I think has been such a wealth of knowledge when it comes to actual production and live circumstances. I can communicate what I want out of the band, because on stage I'm definitely a guitar player, and I'll play piano for a few tunes, but it's always guitar.
Is that the instrument that you use primarily when you're writing?
Surprisingly, no. I've recently been jumping on piano mainly. I find much more of a freedom of notes, I guess, a freedom of what I'm trying to say. And there's such a sense of discovery with playing the keys where I'll accidentally hit something and go, oh, I love that. What is that? You know? And with guitar, I think I understand it too much. And that clearly means I've been lazy in my practicing or playing. So I have to go learn a few more things. I'm never comfortable with that. So yeah, I would say definitely balance between the both, but I love writing on piano.
That's so interesting. Well, luckily for you, you have the capacity to sort of, you know, if one instrument isn't inspiring you at the moment, you can sort of, you know, switch gears and hope that that sparks something. So as a songwriting tool, I'm sure that's really helpful for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So like you said, you went to school for design. You actually did not study music in college, but you did say that studying design helped you just as a creative person and as an artist. So what was that experience like, and why did you then decide to pursue music instead of design, or are you doing both? That's like 10 questions in one, sorry.
I guess I'll attack the design question first here.
Okay.
So when it applies, I definitely said it applies to music because it's the same part of your brain.
Yeah.
The way that I've approached, or I was taught to approach design with at SCAD's Van Art Design down in Georgia, was simplicity. Make it work, but make it simple. And that in and of itself, that theory completely translated to the way that I wanted to communicate lyrics. Because with design, it's all graphic communication. Now, when you take that same mindset of simplicity and to the pointness, if that's a thing, who knows?
Definitely is, yes.
And you apply it to lyrics and melody, there are so many possibilities of clarity that I really strive to touch upon with my music, because I want to get to the point, but I want to hit that in an individual way, lyrically, but say it concisely enough where people just understand one-on-one that emotional connection that I have to the song. So that's what it's all about. It's just the communication skill, I think, with the clear connection with design and music. And I guess continuing on to the next section of the question, the connection of how design helps my musical career. I mean, I am my own graphic designer. I design my website. I have built all of the merch as well as the posters for the tours and for the shows. As anybody from SCAD will know, I've posted dozens upon dozens of posters for the shows in Savannah, Georgia. I feel like I made a wallpaper down there. But yeah, that skill set has absolutely been crucial to my current standpoint right now, where I've come. So just grateful for that experience.
Really cool. I love that it's helped you creatively, but it is also helping you kind of on a technical level because, as you said, you were actually being the person to design your website and your merch. And these are jobs that, you know, you would have to hire someone to do if you weren't doing it yourself. So it's kind of cool that you have that wide skill set for this career.
Yeah, I'm, again, grateful for it. Definitely grateful for it.
So you went to school in Georgia, and then you decided to kind of take this leap and move out to LA. How long have you been there? How do you like it?
Yeah, so I absolutely love LA. I mean, this place, I've only found like-minded musicians, and it's really amazing to be completely surrounded, because in SCAD I was surrounded by like-minded designers, and everybody wanted to talk about what they're passionate about, and there was that constant conversation of like, oh, what do you love to do, you know? And I found that almost identically, but in a musical way, which has been, I think, the biggest gift, and not only the thing that drives me most, but also exactly, it drives me, and it's probably the most inspirational thing as well, because you see, you know, friends playing at the Staples Center and friends playing, you know, you see all these amazing things happening around you and going, wow, my friends are doing that.
Yeah.
I can do that too, you know? And everybody just wants to bring each other up. So I think it's just been an amazing experience living out here.
Awesome. Yeah, it's an inspiring place to be.
Definitely.
Like
As you know, you just...
I know. I just moved back to the area, but I was out there for a very long time. I love it there. Love the lifestyle. But like I was saying, I can feel the pull back to the hometown, which you have also felt, and that is why you're planning this tour now, called the Homegrown Tour, and it is taking you throughout New England, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So, because so ever since I moved out here, I've been working on a collection of songs, and finally that project is coming together, and it's in the final stages of production right now. And what's exciting is that a dance company actually contacted me through a friend of mine out here, and they said, "Hey Nico, we love your music, and we'd love to actually shoot a video of you as well as the dance company, because we choreographed something to one of your songs." And I, sitting there baffled, go, "Oh my God, yeah, of course." So they're flying me out there to do that. And
Awesome.
in my mind, I always think, okay, so I'm flying out to Boston. Why not book a show? Why not create something that makes it so much more of a meaningful trip? And so that's where this whole idea of the Homegrown Tour was born. The idea of the homegrown thing is like it's homebound as well as homegrown, because I booked all the shows myself. They're all for friends and family out in, and again, as you said, New York, Boston, Connecticut, Philly, New England area.
Amazing. I love stories like this. You are such a true independent artist, really doing it all yourself, and it's great. I'm so glad that you were able to set up this tour. It sounds like you're going to be reaching a lot of fans in your area. So what can we expect to hear? Like, if, this is sort of a question that musicians get a lot, what box do I put you in? Or what's the kind of stylistic vibe that we can get from your shows?
So my goal, first and foremost, is to get people dancing. Because the moment you do that, everybody's guard goes down and they're together in the room,
True.
So I'm not like a techno artist or a dance artist. No, I am born and raised on funk and soul music, and I love telling a story through the music, which comes from the Rhode Island folk culture. I mean, there's so much folk storytelling out there. So to put myself in a box, I would say right now, what you're going to hear from me is funk and soul music. Absolutely 100% funk and soul music with pop intention. I want to reach a broad audience, but I wouldn't say I'm a pop artist,
Mm-hmm. That sounds great. So are you recording at the same time? Are you currently recording, or are you going to be touring on a recording that you already have right now that's available?
So what's exciting about what just happened, I recorded a song that's previous for the past 2 weeks, and I was doing a little bit of, to give you a short story about it, I was playing music on the street, which is another one of the means by which I have income out here.
Yeah.
And I decided to just kind of mess around with this little lick I was working on that day, and all of a sudden a song popped out. So that night when I got home, I finished the song and played it for some friends that were visiting out here, and they said, "Hey, you have to put that out. Like, you haven't released anything in so long, like, put it out there." So I actually just released it this past, I think it was Friday, this past Friday. It's called In Front of Me, and I'm using that as the forefront of the tour. So I'm touring that song as a single, but trying to spread the word as well about the project that is to come, which is most likely going to release, I think, I won't put a specific date on it, but this fall.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're doing some street performing out there? You're doing like the Santa Monica Pier and like all those joints?
Actually, yeah. So I started out on 3rd Street.
Yeah.
3rd Street Promenade.
Yep.
And it's so much about performance, because everybody, like, they have a choice of whether or not they want to look at you or watch you. So
right.
You'll have people walking, and then the people that stop are true fans. Like, they're actually there to listen to your words and connect. And I, through happenstance, somehow landed a gig at City Walk, which has been such a blessing. It's because you get your own space and own your own allotted time, and that was a huge game changer for the whole street performing thing. I'll tell you that.
I know, it's true. I have a lot of friends out in LA who do that, and it's true. If someone is walking down the street having a conversation and they stop to check you out, listen to you for a few seconds even, you know that you've cracked through to that person. It's a really kind of very obvious testament to what you're doing with your performing, and it's cool, man. I actually love it. I've heard some amazing musicians out there, so that's a super fun thing to do. I'm glad you're doing that out there. It's like one of the most unique kind of performance opportunities that there are in LA.
Definitely, it's a very humbling experience. I'll tell you that too. So definitely get your grounding on the street. That's for sure.
For sure. Well, Nico, I'm so glad that we had the chance to talk. Again, the Homegrown Tour coming up. You can get more information about the tour dates on your website, nicofranc.com. That is Frank with a C, everyone. nicofranc.com, Homegrown Tour. Go check it out. Where can we get your music? iTunes?
iTunes, Spotify. I have a simple, completely live record called the One Take Sessions out on iTunes and Spotify, and SoundCloud is where that In Front of Me is what it's called, that new single is released on. So
definitely. I will definitely check it out.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for having me. I really
Thank you, Nico.
Really loved it.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming.